Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I am here to give you the top 10 tips of Venice. We gathered all the best tips from all our videos and all our blog posts to put together a list on the top 10 tips for you that are going to Venice. So these tips will be quick, useful, and not boring at all, guys. No binding up at all for you. So don't forget to like the video, give us a like if you like it, subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot, and buckle up. Well, Venice is a city unlike any other we have ever seen in the world. It's very cool. We do recommend that you visit Venice. It's different from all the others, so it's worth spending a few days there. We have already made the video what to do in Venice and where to stay in Venice, which are super important. It's nice that you watch it to know all the sites, where is the best location, and here we'll give you the top 10 tips, gathering all the tips we have gave in these videos and in our blog articles. So guys, let's go without further ado to start our list. Get together with us and let's go. The first tip that we think is one of the most important is look carefully at the season you're going to Venice. This goes in fact for your whole trip in Italy. Even if you're planning the other cities, Italy is a destination that in the summer, which is July and August, which is the European summer, it gets very crowded. You pay more for everything, you get everything crowded. So our tip is, if you haven't set a date yet and you can be a little bit flexible with the months, try to avoid July and August. That will already be good. Going in the winter, then the city is much more empty and everything is much cheaper, but you don't have to go so early in the winter. Just avoid these 2 months and you will save a lot. In Venice, as the streets are very narrow, there are not so many tourist attractions. It's not a very big city, so it gets very crowded, so it ends up disturbing you a little bit in high seasons. If you can't go during the low season, because it's better. The second tip is where to stay. This is a very important tip for any city in the world, and in Venice, as this tourist area of Venice is small, we highly recommend you to stay right in the central and touristic part, which is Parte San Marco. That's the main square in Venice, that's where the main tourist attractions are, and that's where all the other places around are. So by staying near there, you'll be in the best location possible. So look at the map of Venice, you see that there is the San Marco area. This whole area is the best one, so if you stay there, you will be close to everything. If you want to get some other one to pay a little bit cheaper, because this is the most expensive area because it's close to everything, you can take it, but try to always stay close to this region of San Marco. Try not to go too far out of that, because there are some other areas that are still closed. If you go a little bit up or down the area of San Marco, to make it a little bit easier, we have put together a custom map. I'll leave the link here in the description of the video. It's the hotel search engine that we use, which is the biggest in the world, which always has the best prices, the biggest quantity of hotels, so we always make our reservations through there, and we were able to set up a personalized map for you to enter. You enter the date of your trip and it will show you the hotels in the best region of Venice. If you stay close to the area where San Marco is written, you'll be able to almost do everything on foot and using the city's transportation that we'll talk about in the next tip, and also taking advantage of hotel reservations. A good tip to pay less. Venice is a very touristic city and it's not so big, so the hotels sell out fast, the prices go up. So the golden tip for you to save money is to book in advance. Book as early as possible. When you know you're going to Venice, make a reservation. The nice thing about this hotel search engine that we put here in the description, that has free cancellation with almost all the hotels. So you enter, you see a good date, you already book, you guarantee a good price, and then if you want to change your reservation to another hotel, another region, or even cancel it, you can do it at no cost. But do this, because in Venice is 1 or 2 weeks we have seen price almost double. It's absurd. The third tip is about transportation. Venice is different from all other cities, so get familiar with this word. Vaporetto are cabs, but they are not ordinary cabs, they are boats, because Venice is cut by rivers. There is the Grand Canal. It's nice to get your bearings. It's this big canal, this river that cuts through the city, kind of the shape of an S. It's kind of through it that you will locate yourself and to get to almost everywhere, or you have to walk through the city where there's no car, no passing cars, there's no point of taking taking a cab or an Uber, because in this tourist area there are none. So you will walk around this part on foot, going up and over bridges, crossing, walking through streets that are very narrow, or using the vaporetos, which is the means of transportation. For those arriving from the airport or from the central train station, you have various means of transportation. From the airport, it's a little bit further. From the train station, is much closer. You can get it in advance. There's a site that I'll leave here below. That is the site where we buy all the tickets and tours in Europe, especially in Italy. And there's also this path for you to buy, which is the water transfer that they call the little boat, because it's for you to go from the airport to the center of Venice to where your hotel is. It ends up being well worth it. And the Vaporetto, the ticket you have to ride and make a trip, it's like a bus. You see the routes, there are some lines, you take the Vaporetto and get off at such and such station so you can get around. It's very easy to understand. There are a few lines, not many. The main one goes along this Grand Canal, this main canal, so you have a look. The separate ticket costs about 6 euros at the time we went. If you want, there's a little combo that's for 72 hours, which is about 34 euros that you buy. It's worth it if you're going to use it a lot. So if you want to buy it right away, you can use it every day of your trip, so you can get well prepared and you don't need to be spending with the tickets every day. And now a related tip, the fourth tip is don't get lost to get to the hotel. Guys, a lot of people get lost. It's very common. Why is that? The little streets are very narrow. It's like a mini maze inside this tourist area of Venice. You have to take the boat, not a cab, not an Uber that lives in front of the hotel. So our tip is to plan well in advance. Look it up on Google Maps. If you plan well, you can't go wrong. Check with your hotel. They will tell you which Vaporetto you have to take, which Vaporetto station you have to get off at. Use all the maps and make sure you don't get lost, because many people get lost and there are many bridges and many narrow streets. So see people with those huge bags walking back and forth, having a hard time. That's not so necessary. If you plan ahead, you don't have this hassle. If you get a hotel that's too far away, too difficult to get to, many people suggest you leave your suitcase at the station, at the train station, at the airport. You can leave your suitcase there and just take a backpack with what you're going to use in Venice. We didn't think it was necessary because we got a very well located hotel near the Grand Canal. We went down, looked at the map. It was pretty easy, so check it out carefully so you won't have any trouble. So staying well located is the key for you to be well in Venice. The fifth tip is how many days to stay in Venice. We stayed 2 days the first time. We thought it was more than enough. For a first tip, you want to know other places like Rome, Florence, and Milan, which have a lot of things, Tuscany. We ended up thinking that 2 days were perfect. We really got to know everything. Venice is not so big. If you have days to spare, you want to stay, you like it very much, you want to get to know the city, stay 3 or 4 days, but more than 3, more than 4, it's not worth it. It's a matter of taste and opinion, but we think there are other cities that have many more things to explore and you don't need to spend so many days there. And then a complimentary tip to this one is distribute well the days of your trip. If you're going to stay 2 days, distribute the tours well. One tip is to always do the first gondola ride, which is very nice. It's the coolest tour of our trip and you get to know the whole city. And on the gondola ride, you already pass by important sites, so you don't spend time going to them, so you don't spend time. The Bridge of Sighs, the Upper River Bridge, you will pass by them by gondola ride, so you can do this tour one day and then another day to visit Piazza San Marco, all of the sites around the square and this more touristy part of Venice. You can buy the ticket for the gondola ride in advance and pay less. There you can negotiate with the gondoliers, but it's always a little bit more expensive. If you want, there's a site here, that site of the cheapest tickets that we always buy, which already has the ride. You buy it, get there on time at the address they give you, and you have your tour guaranteed with no lines. You just go there and enjoy your ride. Sixth tip is a tip that applies to almost all cities, is the cell phone. People have the internet working, especially in Venice, because otherwise you will get lost and have a lot of trouble. In fact, in any city in the world you need a cell phone. You can't travel without your cell phone, but in Venice it's really essential to get around, to locate yourself, to put on the map, use the GPS. So use the cell phone. For those who don't know, if you travel abroad using the international roaming from your country's carrier plan, you will pay a fortune. It's the worst possible opinion. Don't do it. you can buy the chip abroad, you can buy the prepaid chip, they are much cheaper. There are some companies that sell them. There's a very good one that we have been using in Italy. It works very well. I'll leave the link here in the description. You enter, buy, they're going to send the electronic chip in your email, you receive the instructions, you get off the plane in Italy, you activate it, and you go out using the internet. It's very easy. This company, it's very worthwhile. We have been using them for our last trips. It's going to be amazing. They do an excellent service and you're not gonna have any trouble. Seventh tip, it's a very important tip because it's mandatory. It's an item that people don't know sometimes, but it's international travel insurance. For almost all countries in Europe, it's mandatory. Even Italy is, so don't forget to make your international travel insurance. What is it? It's an insurance that covers you against everything that can happen during your trip. Lost luggage, theft, and the most important of all, medical assistance, dental assistance, which abroad is a fortune. If you have any problems, if you have to be hospitalized, to go to a consultation, to a hospital. So travel insurance is very good. It covers you for all of this and it's very cheap. To enter Europe, the requirement is that you have to have an insurance that has a medical assistance coverage of at least 30,000 euros. To have insurance with this coverage, a good one, you will spend about 24 euros. I'm giving you an approximate figure, but it varies a lot depending on the days of the trip, the season, the dollar as well. So get the insurance, that's very good. If you want to save even more, we have a travel insurance comparator that we always use. I'll leave the link in the description of the video as well. It compares all the insurance companies and shows you all the options, the best options, because they are only from good companies, and you can see the cheapest one that fits perfectly. You can hire it, and in 2-3 minutes the policy is already in your email and you can print it and take it with you. And just like this comparator, there's also the car comparator, which is very nice if you're going to rent a car to drive around in Italy, in Tuscany. If you intend to use the car in your trip, use also the car rental comparator. It works the same way as the travel insurance. It's a comparator that searches all car rental companies in Italy and finds the best prices. It's unbeatable, the prices they get, so use the comparator to help a lot. And there's the train ticket comparator that works the same way as well. And quickly, any questions you may have, no matter how silly, you can talk to us and we'll gladly help you plan your trip. If you want, it's even easier. Send us a direct message on social networks. Add me at @PaiLorenzi. I will help you plan. There's no problem at all. We like to help people, and follow us there. We are always traveling around the world, trying to show travel tips in a very cool way, and the family routine for a little one that is a blast. I'm sure you're gonna love it, so follow us there and help us out. And now the 8th tip, Piazza San Marco is the main tourist attraction in the city, a gigantic square with the Basilica of San Marco, which is another important tourist attraction. It has the Venetian Tower, which is the clock tower that's gigantic. There's the palace too. It's several sites in one, so our tip is enjoy the square a lot and try to go as early as possible. From 10 o'clock on, this square is already crowded with people and doves. It's absurd the amount of people and doves that stay there. The photos end up not being so beautiful. If you go very early, you'll get that square free. So the scenario is beautiful, and if you go there at night, it's also a very nice scenario. We loved it. We had a wine there, we had a pizza. There are several nice restaurants around the square with outdoor tables, so you'll be there in the middle of the night. The nights are usually warm there at the time we went, so it was very nice to have some wine, some pizza there, and looking at the square and the sights. It's much quieter at night, so you can enjoy a little bit, you can have some drinks, you can eat something and just feel the Italian breeze. It's amazing. The nice tip that can be included there in the square, have a gelato. Guys, the best food we had in Italy is gelato. That is their ice cream. It's a little different. It's the same, the looks the same as normal, but I don't know what they do that tastes a little bit different. It's sensational. Look for a nice one there. Actually, we ate almost every day. We would stop by one in the afternoon, have a coffee and eat a gelato. So try to look for one there because it's very different and it's very tasty, guys. And the 10th tip is about restaurants and souvenirs. Always looking for tips to save money. Most people like these ones. So this is a tip that makes a little bit of difference here. Whenever you go to eat, try to get a little bit out of the tourist places. This area of the Piazza San Marco, close to the Rio Alto Bridge, there are nice restaurants that are very busy, but they are much more expensive. Try to go to a little bit into the city. You will find restaurants with much better prices and sometimes even a little bit more cozy, even a little bit more local, a little bit more Italian. So you can eat a little bit better and a little bit cheaper, so you escape a little bit. And the souvenirs work in the same way. All the tourist sites will have several little shops, several people selling souvenirs, fridge magnets, ornaments, but it's much more expensive. Don't buy them at the tourist point, just walk a little bit. You'll find other little shops that have the same products. You will see that they are all the same, the products, souvenirs, they are all identical, and it ends up being much cheaper in the places a little further away from the tourist area. So you walk just a little bit, 1 or 2 blocks, and you can find the same thing with the best price. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us a lot. And don't forget to watch the video on how to save a lot on your trip to Italy. It's a complete step-by-step guide that we made for you to set up your whole trip from beginning to the end, with all the tips, with the best services, and of course saving a lot on everything. So I'll leave this video here and below the playlist with all the other videos from Italy for you to watch and enjoy. So guys, thank you very much. I hope you liked it, and have a nice trip. See you next video.